can't even get that out. It's been a while. Good morning, Grinders. Welcome to the DFS pregame show here on RotoGrinders. I'm Jordan Cooper. Yes, I still am Jordan Cooper. I know I look horrible, but I'm here. It's Tuesday, February 14th, Valentine's Day. I'm going to tell people that on Valentine's, I didn't get my wife a Valentine's Day gift and she punched me in the face. That's what I'm going to tell people that, right? Should I tell people that? I don't know if you guys follow me on Twitter or whatever, but yeah, hit those thummy thumbs. It'll help my black eye or whatever go away. I pickleball is a very deceptive game. It's a very deceptive game. I was down in Nashville, RotoGrinders, Better Collective, whatever. Super Bowl party. Now, this is the first one in like 3 years because of COVID and everything. So everyone was down. Not everyone, but a lot of people were down there. A lot of hosts that you know, right? And we were having a pickleball tournament. And I'm like, I played tennis. I played tennis when I was 17, right? And pickleball is like miniature tennis, kind of. It's a little small court. And we were playing doubles. So it's like, okay, how much running do you have to do playing doubles? It was me and Stevie on a team, right? And there was a bunch of, Alan Lem was there, David Kitchen was there, Dan was there, obviously, tons of stuff was there, right? I played competitive tennis on full courts, hitting the ball, serving the ball at 100 miles an hour, stuff like that. See, the difference is that that's the last time I played tennis. That's the last time I played tennis when I was 17, and I'm 43 now. So, as far as swinging the racket, I could do that, right? I could top spin slice. I could coordination, all that type of stuff. But you still have to get to the ball. And apparently, how you're used to your body working 26 years ago doesn't apply today. It doesn't apply, right? So when the ball goes short and you're gonna run in to try to get it before it bounces the second time, maybe your legs don't work the way that you remember them working when you were a teenager, and then you fall flat on your face. So that's pretty much what happened, right? Fall flat on, not really flat, on the side or whatever. So I hit my head a little, and then it ended up, you get a bruise. It looks way worse than it is. It doesn't feel bad or anything like that. So I'm gonna scare the raccoons today or something, or come up with a reason that for me to say that I got injured, I got a black eye playing pickleball. Doesn't sound that manly, right? Or doesn't even sound that DFS worthy, right? Like when the DFS players, we barely see the sun. So when could this happen? So what's the most creative excuse of how I could get a black eye playing DFS or something? I was joking around that maybe someone at the bar, right? Because it was a Super Bowl party at a bar. Someone at the bar asked me, you're one of the top daily fantasy players. Oh, for the Super Bowl. What play? Here's a 2v2. Should I play Travis Kelce and AJ Brown, or should I play Jalen Hurts and someone else and Dallas Goedert or something? And I told them to look at the projections, and then they punched me in the face. Maybe we'll tell people that. But good morning to everyone. Wataz, Suki Singh, Daniel Hutchings says to hit the thummy thumbs, but not too hard. Don't hit the thummy thumbs too hard. It may hurt my face a little bit more. So good morning, Matt Mears, Bart B, Grant Brown, Jupocalypse, Anthony Stewart. It was a fun weekend, kind of fun weekend. Watched the UFC pay-per-view on my phone, right? To me and Squirrel Patrol in the hotel lobby. The lobby bar, they had the prelims on, but they didn't have the pay-per-view. And I didn't have any lineups, but John did. So I offered, it's like, well, I'll just order it on my phone. So we just propped it up on I had my jacket or whatever, like a glass or something. And we watched the paper. We watched all the main fights on a 6-inch phone screen. And we bumped it. There's some Australian guy we were hanging out with, rooting for Volkanovski. Right, so basically that's what we did on what, Saturday night. And then the Super Bowl, pretty good Super Bowl until the penalty call. And I was okay, that kind of. I would have loved to see a field goal and then Jalen Hurts trying to a 1-minute drill and let's see what happens type of thing. But a pretty good Super Bowl nonetheless. Matt Mears says when playing whoever you want isn't the answer they wanted. Right, that's typical for me. Most people, I play whoever you want, and people get angry. Okay, what are we talking about today? I had a conversation. Had a conversation with Chief Will Priester, right? You know, Chief Justice. He was there. Everyone was there. Britt was there, right? Britt drove me to urgent care just to make sure that, they told me to basically do nothing, right? Now everyone's like, oh, okay, this is nothing, right? You fell on your face, okay? Do you have concussion symptoms, right? You have, oh, can you walk? Can you see straight? Do you know who you are? Right? Stuff like that. Okay, good. Put some ice on it and good luck. There you go. That's what I was doing all weekend, right? People, because afterwards, all weekend, just at the Super Bowl party, people come up to me, you doing okay? I say, who are you again? Where am I? Right? Didn't work on most people. Most people know my sense of humor. But I was talking to Chief, talking to Will, because he is the prop shop. If you're a premium, I don't even think you have to be a premium Discord member of RotoGrinders. You just have to be a normal member of RotoGrinders, just whatever. You can enter our Discord. You can click on the link on the site. There's a Discord link. And then he has like for prop betting and prize picks and underdog and monkey knife fight and all those things. He has a prop shop. And that's going 24/7. There are a bunch of degenerates in there. Okay. And then Chief's in there every so often posting, this is what I got, and this is get this before it's gone. Right? Because that's the way the props are. Right? You can't just wait 5 minutes before a game, 5 minutes before the slate that there is, and go, okay, what do you got? It's like no. I'm getting my baseball ones like the early morning before. I'm staying up late at 1 a.m. to grab them before they move. Right, getting strikeout props at an hour before the game. There's no value there. There's no value. But those are the edges in props or sports betting. So the difference, I think that the misconception is in between like props or sports betting or whatever you want to call it. The greater, field is sports betting, and daily fantasy is that time frame that people coming from playing DFS and going into sports betting may not understand that as much. Now, if you understand edges, you want to get the biggest edge possible. So some people, even in DFS, don't, right? People that ask the 2v2 questions and don't look at the projections. Don't build lineups. They care about players and not lineups. Those are the lost causes, right? They're not going to win. They don't understand the fundamental concepts of statistics and probability and anything like that. But in DFS, you're used to, because you're playing against other people, right? And the salaries don't change. They're static. DraftKings comes out with salaries the night before, whatever, and they don't change throughout the day. Now, in NBA DFS, obviously, the players may be in or out, and that may dramatically affect, the value, the median value, the range of outcomes of different players, but the salaries don't change. It's not like you could wake up in the morning and be like, well, Giannis is 11-4, and then if I get him at, I might as well get him at 11-4, because by a minute before the slate locks, they'll be 12-6, right? There's none of that dynamic in DFS. And for that reason, you could build lineups like 5 minutes before lock. The difference between building a lineup 5 minutes before lock and 5 hours before lock doesn't change. It doesn't matter, right? Like, other than the fact that, like, in those 5 hours of time, maybe, other, injuries and stuff happen that, increase the value of other players. But the salaries don't change. So the physical act of building lineups, you could do, like, right before the slate. Sports betting doesn't work that way. Sports betting is like the complete opposite of that. Most likely, I'm not going to say in all scenarios, but most likely, if you're betting on sports and you're betting 5 minutes before game time, you're a losing sports bettor, right? You're a losing sports bettor. The more efficient the market is, the closer to game time, like once you incorporate the VIG, right, the hold on the market, like, there's not going to be much edge there. It's already been beaten out, right? That's how sportsbooks operate, or at least good sportsbooks operate. So, like with Prize Picks, it's like, oh, it's 6:55 a.m., it's 6:55 p.m. before lock. It's like, oh, what strikeout props do you like? Someone will ask. It's like that. It's not like DFS. You can do DFS analysis 5 minutes before lock because you're playing against other people and the salaries never change. when it comes to sports betting. It's like, oh, you like, oh, you have Charlie Morton's overs on strikeouts. I go, yeah, I have over 5.5. And they're like, okay, I'm gonna bet over 6.5. And I'm like, I wouldn't bet over 6.5. It's like, but I thought you liked Charlie Morton's strikeouts over. It said, yeah, I like it over 5.5 because the bat has him at like 6.8. And at 5.5, the over has value. You may have a nice 10, 12% edge on that bet. Maybe even 15%, depending on the projection. 6.5, you don't. The VIG eats it up. That's like minus 2% or something. But I thought you liked Charlie Morton's overs. Yeah, over 5.5, not over 6.5. Over 6 is not horrible. Can you get it over 6? But those types of things, it's like, well, first off, you have to show the people why one strikeout matters in the expected value of a bet. Oh, why can't I just take Charlie Morton's over 6.5? We'll just throw 7 strikeouts. We'll both win. Like, statistically, like, I'm still going to win more often than you because I've won. And when he throws 6 strikeouts, I win. When he throws 6 strikeouts, you lose. And that'll happen, 20-something% of the time or something, depending on his range of outcomes. So you first have to learn that, of like the one strikeout, half a strikeout matters. In the long run, maybe not on this specific day, but in the long run, yes. Then once you figure that out, then they go, okay, how were you able to get it at over 5.5 and not over 6.5? It's like, yeah, because I got it 1 in the morning. I got the opener. The opener was 5.5. And by 8 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning, it was up to 6. And then by the time the game time, 6.5. So even if you got it at 6, it's still better than its current. Like, you got over 6, that's better than currently it's over 6.5. Over 6.5, like minus 115. Right? Maybe you got over 6 minus 145, and then it virtually ends up being the same anyway. Because that's another thing of what the actual line is, the money line on the bet. Because props isn't just all minus 110s. So you may see like juiced up on one side or juiced down on another side. How much is half a strikeout worth? These are the types of things that you have to pay attention to. Most people that bet on props or bet on sports bet single game parlays with 700 legs. They have no conception of price sensitivity and how it relates to, a statistical distribution of outcomes. So someone will go, it's like on a strikeout prop, right? Like I'll be like, let's use the Charlie Martin example of 5.5 versus 6.5. It's like, well, I got over 6.5 for plus 110. Like if it was just regular sports betting, not like prize picks and stuff like that. And someone's like, I got over 5.5. I'm like, you got over 5? Yeah, but I got over 5.5 for minus 175. And it's like, okay, our bets are statistically about the same. So it's not about what happens if he throws 6 strikeouts? It's like, yeah, but when he throws 6.5 strikeouts, I'm getting plus 110 on my money, and 5.5 strikeouts is laying 175 to 100. If you run this out over the long run, if you ran this game out every day like this, with minus 105, minus 175 over 5.5, and under, right, and over 6.5 plus 110, like we'll end up with about the same amount of money. So like that number matters. Minus 175, you say you got over 5.5 at minus 110, and that's a great bet. Now that's a great bet. You probably got that really early. So the money line, even on these props, matter also. But the main difference is that it's not like showing up an hour before the games start, right? The basketball slate, and it's like, oh, it's 6:30 Eastern. What are some good prop bets, man? What are some good like nothing. What are some good bets in general? Oh, you're going to bet the Timberwolves, right? You go to scoresandodds.com, right? Our sister site. We have guys like Andy and Justin Carlucci and whoever, Noto and Grant, Keith. They're putting up. It's like okay, Timberwolves plus 4.5 or something like that. And then by the time the game starts, by the time 10 minutes before game time, that the line doesn't exist. You get Timberwolves plus 2. Yeah, that's the current line. But you can't get plus 4.5 anymore. So when should you have gotten plus 4.5? You should have gotten it 8 hours ago. To me, that's the fundamental difference. That's why I was talking to Chief, because she was talking about the prop shot. We were hanging out in the lobby or whatever. Super Bowl party. I don't know where we were talking. Pickleball. Yeah, who's at pickleball also? That so many people in the prop shop lose money because they're betting on picks and not on numbers. Just simply not betting on numbers. That people will message Chief and say, I picked all the same, like Chief would post like a card, like a prize picks card of like 4 bets of 4 props and say, this is what I got. And then someone like 6 hours later would pick those same players with the same like over or unders, but the number would change, right? Rebound, some rebound number, 8.5 rebounds is on Chiefs thing, and on this guy's thing would be over 9.5, right? Like something like that. It's like, well, I don't win as often. Yeah, so you're getting bad numbers because you care more about who Chief likes rather than who Chief likes at the number. The number is the one that matters. This is very similar even to DFS. Just even the concept of like, oh, this is the lineup that I'm playing. Well, without knowing what contest you're in or who you're playing or any other context, that doesn't necessarily mean it's a good lineup for you to play, right? I'm playing this lineup in the 7-7-7, or even in MMA, like my lineup in the 555 that I typically play. Typically, I play one lineup. Sometimes I'll play 2. It depends if I win some tickets. The lineup that I play in that contest is not a good lineup for large field because it'll be duped too much from an EV standpoint. The 555, it'll probably be unique. And sometimes, once in a while, it actually is duped. But it's close. Like, I don't mind in the 555 spending, $49.9, playing 1 or 2 of the chalky got playing. I mean, like, I don't have to get that different in like a 200-man contest, 300-man contest. I may throw it in the large field, just, peace of mind sakes. And if it's a 32-way split, then so be it. But if I showed you that line and be like, oh, you like these fighters? Like, no, I like this lineup in this contest. I think this lineup is plus EV in this contest. But as far as it's okay, I'm going to play this lineup in the 20 max, $3 20 max. I'm like, I don't know if it's, I don't know if I think it's better. You should do other things in that contest. That's a larger contest. Oh, so you don't like this guy? It's like it has nothing to do with who I like. How does the projection and leverage, although in MMA, projection could be quantified in a different way. But how much projection, leverage, and correlation do you need for the contest that you're playing and the opponents that you're playing? A lot of times in MMA, the chalk underdog is way overowned. You get like a 42% underdog. In the large field, he's like 30%. In the 555, he's like 42%. I'm way more likely to not play that underdog in my 555 lineup than in a large field lineup. There's more leverage to be had in the 555 by not playing the most popular underdog. And with only 200 or 300 lineups in there, the value of 42% of the lineups getting a 0 or a 2 or whatever, 10, a low score, a losing score, so much worth more than me. Because even if the 30% of lineups in the large field all get a 0, I still have to compete against 70% of the lineups. The 555, now I'm only competing against 58% of lineups now. So a similar concept applies in DFS of like, it's just not a one-to-one comparison of like, well, what is Jordan doing? Right? That pretty much that's, talking to Chief. Like that's the number one. It's like, oh, what is Chief betting on? I'm going to bet on that. Right? Oh, Chief's betting the Bulls today. I'm going to bet on the Bulls. It's like, yeah, he's betting the Bulls at a certain number because he believes there's value there. But he's not betting on the Bulls. He may be betting on the Bulls plus 130, right? And you just bet on the Bulls plus 105, and that the 25 cents matters. A&S Comedy says, I feel like this MMA slate that passed was very good for GPPs. Was it me, or was it a lot of people that hit 100 points? No, there weren't a lot of people that hit 100 points. This past, I didn't play the UFC slate. I mean, I watched the main card, the pay-per-view card. I guess the last fight of the prelims or whatever, but that's what we caught. No, from what I mean, Squirrel Patrol, who I was with, he had lineups. Like, I think only 3 fighters scored over 100 points, right? Didn't like the biggest favorite lost. 2 could go have lost in a questionable decision, even though the cheapest fighter only put up like 60 points in a win. Then what? Gleitson Rodriguez, he had a quick win bonus, so there's 1. Tafa won in the first round. I think he got like 103. Something like that, right? And someone else scored over 100 points. So who else scored up more? Right, it was low enough that like Volkanovski may, in a loss, was in the optimal lineup because of so many low scores. Right, Neil Jaworski said, won the 3 max 1500 entry contest with Volk in the lineup. It was great. Right, because the scoring was very low. A&S Comedy says the XFL Week 2 edge is going to be okay. Week 2? Because people are going to look at Week 1 and go, oh, it has to happen again, and then everyone is overowned. The overall point that I'm making with all this, with the sports betting versus DFS versus stuff like that, is still all about finding edges, finding and exploiting edges. Where are they? There's tons of them. Can you find them all? No, it's not about finding them all. It's about finding enough for you to make whatever goal that you have versus the time that you want to spend. Oh, yeah, Maddalena. Yeah. Della Maddalena, he scored over. Right? He had a submission, which probably was an insane bet. I mean, he got a knockdown, and then he ended up on the guy's back and then choked him out. All right, Yair Rodriguez had 102. Okay. But it was a low-scoring slate nonetheless. Typically, you see much higher scores. But like when you see people, for instance, like I'm not playing NBA DFS. And you don't know how many times people have said to me, "Oh, you're not playing any NBA DFS? Is it dead? Is there no edge?" Right? You're not playing. That means we shouldn't be playing. It's like, no, there's plenty. NBA DFS has a ton of edge. Right? With late swap, it's insane. They're like, well, then why aren't you? It's like, because I'm only one person. Like that's the number one reason. If I could clone myself 15 times, I'd be playing on every site, everywhere, doing everything. But I'm only one person. And I have certain goals that are much more modest than other people's. I don't need to win all the money. So it's like, oh, well, when baseball season comes around, I'm going to be, 1 a.m. up, waiting for the prize picks board and getting up early for the underdog board, hammering baseball props, pitching strikeout props, pitching outs, pitch count props, anything like that. And then I'm going to be playing not going to play the large field GPPs for MLB. Trying to do 3-man, 5-man, small field stuff for MLB. But the natural response I get is what so there's no edge in large field MLB. I said, no, there's tons of edge. Well, there's tons of edge, Jordan. Why aren't you doing it? Is that because do I want to spend 16 hours? Do I want to spend every waking moment 16 hours a day getting EV? Do I want to? If you can, you can. If you want to, you want to sleep for 8 hours. Hey, even if you don't want to sleep for it, let's say you never sleep. You never sleep. 24/7. There are edges in Eastern European tennis. Right? Bulgarian ping pong. Right? There's Indian cricket. There's Australian rules football. There are edges everywhere. Right? There's a 2% edge there. There's a 3% edge there. There's a 10% edge there. There's a 10%. Got to jump on that. There'll be another one tomorrow. They'll be there all the time. So do you have to get them all? If your goal is to make billions upon billions, if your goal is to make as much money as possible, then you'd never sleep. You take out a loan, right? Or get backed or something, have a multi-million-dollar bankroll, and hit. It doesn't matter if you could only bet $10. It's 22 cents of expected value there. So why not do it? All it takes is clicking a button. So do it. Okay, you got your 22 cents there, and you can go everywhere. And then play DFS and play on all the sites, right? Play on everything. All the sports that you'd move to a legal sports betting state and bet on 16 sports books. And you'd be up 24/7 doing that. And at the end of the year, maybe you've made $1 million. Maybe you've made $1 million. Understanding that you've never slept, though. You've never done anything else other than that. So you have your $1 million, and how do you spend your $1 million? Because you're up 24/7, getting every possible edge. A 1% edge there, got to do it. 2% edge there, got to. Hey, got to hire someone else. Now there's 2 people. Now both of you are doing that could be your life. So how much time do you want to put in for that amount of money? So it's not about finding the edge. There's tons of edges. To me, my goal, I have a modest, average yearly monetary goal. And how do I maximize reaching that goal in using the least amount of time with the least amount of risk of ruin, the least amount of risk? That's it. My goal is $75,000 average per year. How do I make that with as little risk as possible, devoting as little time as possible? If I could do it hammering strikeout props and then not playing NBA DFS, then why wouldn't I be doing it? Like, if my goal is to make $1 billion, no matter the cost or the time or the anything, yeah, I'd be playing everything. What is your goal? And just because someone is not doing something doesn't mean there's no edge there. Just, is it worth me playing NBA DFS if I have to sit at my computer from 7 to 11? It would be if I don't mind, like, on average, making, even if I do small field GPP, maybe on average I can make 20 or 30 grand in an NBA season. On average. Well, how much time am I spending? Well, I'm spending 4 to 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. Okay, well, can I replace that with something else that also gets 20 to 30,000? If the answer is yes, and it's less time, and it's like, oh, you could do this thing, you could bet on these things, these props or something like that. You may find 5 or 6 of them early in the morning, and once you have to do no more work. So it's like, okay, I can make the same amount of money on average, for 12 minutes of work rather than 4 hours. So I'm just going to replace it. Yeah, you're right. I could do both. But what if I actually want to enjoy my life? I actually want to do other things. I can prioritize that. There are plenty of people that are like, I can't take a slate off. No days off. And that's fine if you want to. There's edges everywhere. There's edges everywhere. It doesn't mean you need to. I'm going to gravitate towards the biggest edges with the least amount of time to exploit. That's how I am. And then use my time. If I want to spend 6 hours on what I'm going to do today, right? Today on Valentine's Day, is after the show, I'm probably gonna watch TV for most of the day. I'm just gonna lie on the couch and relax. Right? Look at my face. I'm gonna relax. I'm not going out. Oh, what's going on in NBA today? No, I just feel like I just feel like relaxing. And I could do that. Why? Because I make money all the other times. Right? I could take a day off. Right? I don't have to play NBA. I don't have to look at the prop markets. Can I get to my goal of $50,000 to $75,000 a year? Doing that? Yeah, okay, then I'm good. But people are going, got to bet on tennis aces now that the ace lines are off on some site. And they come up at like 3:30 in the morning and people setting alarms. Or I remember like for Korean baseball, got to play Korean baseball at 5 in the morning. Why? Do you have to? Is it that big of an edge that it's worth changing your entire sleep schedule? If it is, great. Then don't do it. If it's not worth it to me, then I won't. A&S Comedy asks, how quick is Prize Picks move lines if I'm playing Prize Picks for NBA? Is there value in waiting for injury reports? Should I bet it early? Go into the prop shop and find out. That NBA, it depends. That's way too complicated. It's way too vague of a question. It depends on how confident you are in a guy being out or in. And if their line's up. A lot of times the lines aren't even going to be up. And once the news comes in, all of that team's props are going to be removed. It's going to be seconds. It's going to be seconds. So you're not really going to be able to get much down. And also, once you do that a couple of times, even Prize Picks, they'll limit you. So now you're going to get screwed everywhere else. If anything, you're still betting them early. But you're betting them based on, do you believe that this guy is really good? He's doubtful, but maybe he plays, or he's questionable, or something like that. Or something that no one could be on the injury report and the lines could still be off. All I'm doing is comparing them to statistical projections. I'm not doing anything fancy. Daniel Hutchings says MLB the king of DFS board. Yeah, I think it's the easiest to play well with the least amount of time. I guess MMA, golf, maybe. But MLB, like also you get the volume, right? Because it's every day. It's not MMA is just once a week. But MLB is the type of thing where you're going to get an MLB slate. You'll get maybe even multiple MLB slates every day for like 7 months. And pretty much like you could play DFS well, building lineups 15 minutes before lock. And you're good. Occasionally a catcher will get scratched or something like you do. And you could do global swap and you're not giving up much projection no matter what, because like they're batters. They get 4 at bats. Like, yeah, I had to change a $4,200 catcher to a $3,500 catcher. Oh my God, I got to swap out everyone. No, you don't. It's event-driven, high-variance sport. You're stacking a team? Okay, leave 700 on the table. Who cares? Daniel says, it's funny with NBA DFS. I feel like there's a lot of edges there because it's such a pain in the tuchus. Yes, that's the reason. But how much are you making off of that edge that it's worth to go through that pain? That answer is up to you. That's a personal question. To me, it wasn't enough. I did it for what, 4 years? 5 years? I've been playing NBA DFS since what, 2000, late 2017, early 2018, I guess. I just said, I'm done. I'm done. And a lot of the reason behind that is because I went to play some live poker, and I'm like, this seems pretty damn easy. You go sit down, play some poker for 8 hours, have a higher expected return than NBA DFS for that time. So I said, I'll do this instead. Could I do both at the same? I could do both. Yes, I can do both, but do I need to do both? With my modest goals? No. So I just said, screw it. I'm going to replace it. Neil Jaworski says the pain of NBA DFS will just increase your excitement for MLB. Only 44 days until opening day. Yeah, 44 days. Till people tilting some, the star pitcher gets hit up for, 2 home runs. Garrett Cole gets knocked around in the first inning. Till this day. Oh, Coors. Oh, the Wrigley win game, right? Oh, there's 15 miles an hour blowing out of Wrigley, and it's like a 2-1 game. Like half the ownership is in those stacks. Welcome to MLB. Got any questions about MLB? Got any questions about anything? Email me, questions@theoryofdfs.com. I let questions pile up, and when I get ones from very similar topics, I start covering those topics. So you got any topics you'd like me to cover, email them in. Questions@theoryofdfs.com. Most of the stuff that I talk about on this show are in my courses. Either the Fundamentals Masterclass, 15 hours, how to think like a professional DFS player, or the sequel, the Advanced Players Course, 10 chapters of audio, 6 hours of audio, and custom Excel tools. But this is where we do it unstructured. If you want to go through, you can go through 21 hours of audio and have Excel tools. You add that with a RotoGrinders subscription, you got all you need. You got all you need to play DFS well, right? Probably listen to it multiple times. Reinforce concepts. Play, listen, play, listen, play, listen. It's really not that complicated. I mean, it is complicated, but once you understand what the game is all about, you start weeding out all the stuff that doesn't matter, and you find out that if you've been playing for a while recreationally, you're like, oh, I don't have 8 hours a day like you guys have. 10 hours to research a slate. It's like, research a slate. I can build lineups in 3 minutes. Well, how the hell do you do that? It's like, everything's kind of done for you. Once you have projections, everything's done for you. As long as you understand the concepts of putting together good lineups. Just show up and put together good lineups. Enter them, and good luck. Have fun. Hope variance goes your way. Welcome to DFS. Let's see. Anything else in the chat before we get out of here? I don't know what we're going to title this. I'm not going to title this. Me talking with a black guy. I guess sports betting versus DFS. Okay, maybe betting versus DFS edges. And maybe I'll type the sports betting versus DFS edges. Is that good for SEO? Maybe. I don't know. Sounds good enough. People, yeah, I have a poker podcast, right? I only played one session last week because I went to Nashville. If you want to search for relearning poker, basically be bitching and moaning and ranting. Not really bitching and moaning, but just ranting for an hour every week or so about my live poker play and relearning poker, since I haven't before December. I didn't play seriously for like 15 years, since like 2008. But between 2002 and 2008, I made most of my living playing poker. So now relearning poker, you could go check that out if you want. So sports betting versus DFS edges, DFS versus sports betting edges. That may actually be better if you reverse it. For SEO, sports betting edge probably works better as a 3-word phrase. Whatever. I'll be back tomorrow. This is not going to go away. This probably this one. I probably won't completely get rid of this black eye until like after the NBA All-Star break. So hopefully new people will show up and think that what happened to you? Who punched you out? You told someone. Just look at the projections. They punched me in the face to help me out, to help it heal quicker. hit those thumbs up buttons. Give me those thummy thumbs. Give me those thummy thumbs. We love the thummy thumbs. The like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell to know when we go live. We got Grinders live later. We got stuff today, right? There's an NBA slate. It's Valentine's Day. I look at the people in the chat. You people have no lives. Most of you have no girlfriends or wives or significant others of any type. You're going to be playing. I'm not, but you're going to be playing. I got nothing to do. And I said you could either drink your sorrows away from being alone, or you can play some NBA DFS and check out Grinders Live and Crunch Time. We got their hockey going on, college basketball. There's tons of stuff going on. MMA is coming up on Saturday. Soccer. We got Champions League soccer this afternoon and tomorrow. We got projections for that. So you want some soccer stuff? Join me. Join me in the soccer lobby. And yeah, and I'll see you tomorrow with your questions, right? Answering your DFS strategy questions like I always do here. Mostly Monday through Friday, maybe not in February. February's with the breaks and everything, it's kind of weird. But normally, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock Eastern on the DFS pregame show on RotoGrinders.com.